big Tyson Fury has given us bags of entertainment throughout the year here on ITV4. He's the new English champion on the back of a controversial points victory over John McDermott. The Board of Control have actually ordered a rematch, but Tyson Fury is determined to prove his doubters wrong.
The British public do build someone up, and then the favourite thing is to bring them back down again. It happens with all boxers. It happened with David A when he stepped up to the plate, Amir Khan. So what's the difference with Tyson Fury to all of them other people? So I'm expecting it, but I like to be criticised because it's made me stand up and think to myself, well, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I'm not a finished article. I've just turned 21. And what can I say? 21 years old. I've had 9 pro fights in 1 year, and I'm like ranked number 44 in the world. Well, I don't know any other 21-year-olds who's... If you look at the world ranking, there's none. But I've got a lot to learn, and I'm with Rob McCracken now, and he's going to show me some good defensive skills, and I'm going to work on my defence. But to be honest, if I fought McDermott now, it'd be a 100 times different fight, because even if in the fight in Ireland I was boxing a lot better, not because the opponent... If I'd have boxed like I did on Saturday against McDermott, I'd have knocked McDermott out. To be honest, I fought the wrong fight. It was all credit to McDermott, really. He fought the best he can fight, and I fought the worst I could have fought, because I think that's the worst performance I've done since I've been amateur or professional.
Why?
Because I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't that I wasn't fit. I was fit enough. But you've heard he's left it all in the gym. You've heard that saying that he's left it all in the gym. That's exactly what I'd done. I was out in Germany, Berlin, 4 or 5 days before the fight, and I was sparring with all them top European fighters out there, and 8 and 10 rounds every day. And I think I was fighting them off, and I wasn't bothered about McDermott, if you know what I mean. I wasn't really like, I thought, oh, I'll get some good sparring in him, and I'm just going to go in there and beat McDermott up, and then it'll be all good. But I had 2 hours of sparring in the gyms. It was hammer and tongs and pushing everything in it, and I was running and I was keeping up with middleweights and stuff like that. So I put a lot in over there to try and get fit, because I didn't get no sparring until like 10 days before. So I thought it's either 10 days of sparring or no sparring. So I went over there and took it. Thought, nah, I'm going to get some sparring in. You can watch a fight and you can be swayed by the commentary. To be honest, everything I was throwing, the commentary wasn't saying anything about. I was hitting him quite a few good punches, yeah, and they never even showed a replay. Everything was McDermott, 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 McDermott. Even on the replays, they only showed McDermott punching me in the face and nothing, me hitting him back. And it's not just that. The referee is a star referee. He referees all big things, and he's been under surveillance by the board, and they've said, right, no problem. He explained his case, and he referees fights all the time.
Audley Harrison wins the prize fighter competition. What does that tell you about the state of heavyweight boxing in this country?
If I fought Audley Harrison, he wouldn't be going in a shell, he'd be going on the floor. He'd be like, I don't know, he'd just be so scared. If he's scared of Coleman Barrett, 6'1" or 15 stone, I punch a hell of a lot harder than Coleman Barrett. And to be honest, I've just fought a good 10-round fight, grueling fight with John McDermott. If he wants to fight for a British title, he's got to do something similar, hasn't he, really? Let him get in a good 10-round fight, and if he can show he's worthy, then get it on, innit? But I'm not saying it's me should be fighting for it. There's other fighters like Derek Chisora, there's fighters like Michael Sprott. They're all in it as well, aren't they? But to be honest, Chisora hasn't proved himself enough to fight for a British title, has he? What has he done? Who's he fought? Nobody. And Michael Sprott, well, his tragedy's happened, doesn't it? So I don't think he'll be boxing for a while. Just because I've had an hard fight with McDermott doesn't mean anything, really. It doesn't mean I'm going to slow down or be quiet now, because that's not me. It's not my nature to be stand down and sit in the corner and not do anything. I'd like to fight Sam Sexton, to be honest. I want to fight the winner of Martin Rogan, Sam Sexton. The Commonwealth title's a good title, so I do believe I'll smash them 2 up. So anything really, anybody really. That's what I do, don't I? I'm a boxer, so anybody in the division really. I'm the man in the division, so they've got to beat me, haven't they? I'm the one to beat, really. I'm the one with a big knockout record.
That's what I like about you. You'll never lose that belief.
To be honest with you, I do believe 1,000,000% that I can no doubt be a world heavyweight champion. It just takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Rome was not built in one day, as they say. The problem with me is when I was an amateur and a professional, I want everything tomorrow. I want to fight for this and that and that and that and that. And I just don't want to be patient, but good things come to those who wait.
Well, some plain speaking there from Tyson Fury, who is realising you can't get to the top in a hurry in this game, John. We mustn't forget about him. He hasn't even been a pro for a year yet.
No, I mean, it's very easy to be overly harsh in your criticism, I think. He's still very much a work in progress. And I tell you what, that fight against John McDermott, irrespective of the scoring of it and whether or not it was the right decision or whatever, Tyson can only have learned from that. because he'll learn a lot more from going the distance against a really good pro like John McDermott than he would by bowling over half a dozen stiffs. That's a learning fight, and there'll come a time in his career, if he progresses from that, when he'll look back at that and think, yeah, I really gained something from that night.
Do you feel that he needs a lot of help at this stage of his career, both on his technique and indeed on his fitness as well?
Absolutely. As John's already said, he's still a work in progress. It's going to take time to build him up, you know, a good few years, not months. You know, he's got to learn his trade, and that's the most fundamental thing in his career right now. He's still very much in the infancy stages of his career.
Physically, Barry, what do you make of Tyson Fury? We all know he's massive, got a lot of the ingredients naturally, but does he work hard enough on the other aspects?
Yeah, that's a good question, but let me refer back to what John said. The main thing is there were a lot of positives out of the fight against McDermott. You know, he was able to go 10 rounds, he took some good shots, so he showed he's got a good chin, he showed he can last 10 rounds. He's got to work on his condition. He looked awful in the fight in Dublin. A lot of weight around his waist, and he needs to work on, and forget the idea that he can knock everybody out. He's got to remember that basically his game plan is going to be fast punch. He's got very quick hands for a big guy, placing his shots and just moving his feet. He'll get that with a good coach. And I think Robert McCracken will be a great asset to him, but he's got to be committed, because to my mind he looks like a guy that's not committed enough, and he's got to make that commitment, and I think that will bring him up to the next level. But he's doing the right thing. He's been sensible now. He's not talking about world title fights. He's just thinking about one fight at a time, and just keep him busy and keep him learning and keep him working very hard.
I think the thing about him, though, John, is that he has got a huge following. He's developing a big following, and people do want to see Tyson Fury fight.
Well, people are talking about it, and that's half the battle. We crave a top heavyweight, don't we? Everybody would like to see David Hay win. Lennox Lewis still casts a shadow over the British sport. We want to see another top British heavyweight coming through, and Tyson Fury talks the talk. I think there are people out there who would love to see him deliver. There's still time, he still might.
Just quickly from you two ex-pros, if you could say one sentence to Tyson Fury, you first of all, what would it be at this stage of his career?
Well, just to stay true to himself and to stay, to keep his fitness going, because I think that's a very big part, very important part of his development.
Keep his fitness going. What about you, Barry?
Be committed. Simple as that, Jim.
Okay, let's